Okay, today is MOT day. Let's see how we get on. Right, this is going to be the first time I've ridden this bike since 2015, I think. Whew. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if I fit. Okay, start her up. Oh, listen to that engine. Blimey. How did I ride this round the world? Now I've only got the helmet cam. I'm running late as per usual. Oh, it sounds amazing. Oh baby, I've missed you. Listen to that exhaust. That Pipeworks can is gorgeous. God, you forget there's absolutely no engine braking. Compared to the big engines that, you know, the twins and the V4s and the Ls that triples I'm used to riding. I'm trying to remember. I think I fitted a quick shifter. I can't remember if I did or didn't on this one. I probably didn't actually. I only ever use second and third gear on this bike. Now this is literally the first time I've ridden this bike since 2015. Yeah, there's no quick shifter on it. Oh, and it's in kilometres as well. Oh, that's a bugger. Well, this is 50, isn't it? What's that, about 80? So you might remember Ollie and I, well basically Ollie, did all the spannering on this bike to get her roadworthy last year in the Gixxer rebuild series. And since then she's just sat nationals dormant in my garage. Basically because insurance prices have just been absolutely ridiculous. Because my everyday bike is the GS1300, there's been very few insurance companies that would actually touch that anyway to insure me because of high mileage and the fact I need full business use. And the ones that did would not do a multi-bike policy, which meant the 11 years no claims that I had, I couldn't use for the Gixxer. So I was having to start afresh on a separate policy. The cost for fully comp was coming in at like 1,300 quid minimum, and I just wasn't prepared to pay that for a bike that I'll probably do a couple of thousand miles a year on, maybe. So I swallowed that for a while. I kept trying every now and then, just testing the market. Eventually, Bemoto, not through any publicity or anything like that, just me phoning up. About the second or third time I called them over the space of the last year and a half, I was chatting to them and explaining, just saying, look, I just think this is absolutely ridiculous. This is the situation. The bike's not worth anything, maybe $1,000 at tops. Obviously it's got huge sentimental value for me. But they said, oh, we could mirror your no claims. So they tried doing that, and that got it down to 570 odd quid, which was still a ridiculous amount of money, and the Scotsman in me just refused to pay that. So that was that. I wasn't paying it. And then I was away on a Picos tour last week, and one of the lads that's on that, Steve, he and his mate Mark, well my mate Mark as well, they're organising the next clan weekend that we're doing, you know, my thing over on Patreon. And he said to me, oh, have you got the Gixxer back on the road yet for the clan weekend? And I thought he was taking the mick, and just said, nah, it's not happening, blah 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 blah. And he said, oh, you do remember you shook on this, and we said we'd organise the clan weekend if you brought the Gixxer. And I was like, oh god, it was like a light bulb moment, you know. I suddenly remembered that beer infused night in the pub. So I was like, right, okay, let me see what I can do. So I got home late Sunday night, Monday I was back on the phone, called up Bemoto, and somehow the insurance market seems to have calmed down a bit. And I managed to get fully comp on this bike for 390 quid, full business use, which some of you might still be gulping at, but compared to the prices I was seeing, I don't think that's bad at all. So I jumped at the chance. She's all insured. I've got the bike booked in to MOT today. I had to hook her up to my Optimate. I've got an Optimate 3. I was given, geez, about 5 years ago, and I've hardly used it, never needed it. So the bike's battery was dead after a year and a bit of being sat in the garage doing nothing. So I connected up the Optimate 3, and it took about 24 hours, but it brought the battery back to life and she started, no problem at all. So that's it, we're on our way into town now. So how's it feel? Do you know what? Surprisingly roomy. It's bringing back loads of great memories. Loads of great memories. Pegs are obviously a lot higher up than what I'm used to, even on the 1300 GS. But it's not bad at all. Just remembering to grip the tank with your knees and use your core if you've got one. I'm just currently trying to find where my core is, actually, to take the weight off your wrists. She sounds amazing. That Pipeworks exhaust is just beautiful. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They gave me an exhaust before I did the trip, just to take on the trip. They've never asked for anything at all, in like 12 odd years ago that they gave me this pipe. So Pipeworks folks, if you're watching, thank you so much. But the engine itself is just beautiful. It feels so like tight but loose, if that makes sense. It just feels so smooth. It's beautiful. It's a hard ride, I'll give you that. A lot harder than I'm used to, but nowhere near as bad as it was. The rear shock was totally done, and the front forks, obviously the fluid in them was minging. So Ollie changed all the fluids. We actually had to cut the rear shock off because it was fused on. If you've watched the vid, you know the story there. So we replaced the shock with a second-hand one, and that's much better. This bike used to feel like an iron girder. There was just no giving it. Well, at the rear, and the front was just like mud. Now, beautiful. Now, I'm also testing the new GoPro Hero 13. Literally just took it out the box this morning, charged up the batteries and whacked it on. I've got no cockpit cam here because, as usual, I left things way too late, and by the time I was down, got myself sorted and had the bike out ready to go, I didn't have enough time to fiddle about and try and figure out where to put camera, my ultimate add-ons, mount, all that sort of stuff. So I've got the MOT booked for 11:30. I don't want to miss that slot. So it's just cockpit cam, and I've just got the audio plugged direct straight in via the media mod. Old fashioned, old school. So how does it look? How does it sound? It's literally straight out the camera. I've not mucked about with any of the settings at all. I think it's 5.3K. Can't remember if I'm at 30 or 60 frames per second. I'll pop it up on the screen now. But I haven't mucked about with like the EV setting and all that, like I used to with my old ones. What I really like about the GoPros is the audio tends to be much better. I've found much better than even you know, the Insta Ace Pros that I've been using most of this year, or the DJI Action 4 that I used before. They have some sort of wizardry going on where they're trying to eliminate wind noise, I think. The vocals and the engine note just aren't as clear and prominent, I don't think, with those cameras as they are from the GoPro. But you tell me, what do you think? Also, the picture, the vertical depth of field on the GoPro, I always find that much better, certainly, than the Insta Ace Pro. Now, Insta have told me that certainly with the Ace Pro 2, which is coming out, that should have a much deeper vertical depth of field. you know, this bit top and bottom here. The horizontal field of view is pretty much same as the GoPros, I believe, but the vertical just seemed to crop it in a little bit. I'm just letting this run as well because I want to see how long the battery lasts. I'll let you know now. Oh really? Okay, next up, let's get into FWRs and hopefully get this thing MOT'd. Oh, it's good to be back on her. Right, we're here. FWR, MOT time. Fingers crossed. The FI light literally just came on there as it came into London, so we'll see how we do. Pass. Happy days. And even better, the FI light has gone off. Happy days! Right, we are back on the road, baby. Clan meet, here we come. Ah, good old South London. Smell of weed everywhere you go.